The photograph trembled in my hand, its edges curling under the weight of my grip, as if it could sense the storm brewing in my chest. It was a grainy image snapped from a distance, but her silhouette was unmistakable. Lila, my wife, stepping out of a dimly lit cafe, her arm looped through another man's. The private investigator's report lay open on the kitchen table, a clinical dissection of my life. Timestamps, locations, and a second woman's name I didn't recognize. My pulse hammered in my ears, drowning out the hum of the refrigerator. I wanted to scream, to hurl the photo across the room, but instead, I sat frozen, staring at the stranger who shared Lila's laugh, her touch, her secrets. It had started with small things, the kind you brush off because love makes you blind. Her phone, always face down now, buzzing at odd hours. The way she'd linger in the bathroom, whispering into calls she claimed were work. The faint scent of cedar cologne on her scarf, not mine. I told myself it was nothing. Overtime, stress, my own paranoia. But doubt is a splinter, burrowing deeper with every dismissed red flag. 2 weeks ago, I'd hired the investigator, a grizzled man named Carl who smelled of stale coffee and promised discretion. "You sure you want the truth?" he'd asked, his eyes heavy with pity. I'd nodded, not knowing how much truth could hurt. The kitchen clock ticked, each second a needle in my skin. I traced the photo's edges, my thumb smudging the ink. Lila's smile in the image wasn't the one she gave me. Tentative, warm, familiar. This was something else, unguarded. Alive with a spark I hadn't seen in years. The man beside her was tall, broad-shouldered, his face half hidden by a fedora, like some noir villain. The report mentioned another woman, too, a second wife, Carl had written, spotted with the same man at a different cafe. The words blurred as my eyes stung. Was Lila just one of many? Was I the fool in a web of lies? I paced the apartment, the hardwood creaking under my steps. The living room smelled of her lavender candles, now extinguished, their wicks black and brittle. Our wedding photo hung above the couch, her eyes locked on mine, promising forever. I wanted to believe it still meant something. I wanted to believe her late nights were innocent. That the man in the photo was a colleague, a friend, anything but what my gut screamed. But the evidence was a blade, slicing through my rationalizations. I sank onto the couch, clutching the photo, my breath ragged. What do you do when the person you love most becomes a stranger? The front door clicked open. My heart lurched. Lila stepped in, her coat dusted with snow, her cheeks flushed from the cold. "Hey, you're up late," she said, her voice light but cautious, like she sensed the air had thickened. She kicked off her boots, leaving wet footprints on the rug. I stood, the photo burning in my hand, and her eyes flicked to it, then back to me. A flicker of something, guilt? Fear? Crossed her face before she smiled. "What's that?" I swallowed, my throat dry as ash. "Who is he, Lila?" My voice cracked, raw with the weight of the question. Her smile faltered, but she didn't look away. She never did. That was her strength, her ability to hold your gaze and make you doubt yourself. "Who's who?" she asked, stepping closer, her tone soft, almost coaxing. She reached for the photo, but I pulled it back, my fingers tightening. The room felt smaller, the walls pressing in, the air thick with unspoken truths. "Don't," I said, sharper than I meant. "I hired someone. I know about the cafe, the man, the other woman. All of it." My voice trembled, anger and heartbreak colliding. Her eyes widened, just for a second, before she masked it with a laugh, sharp, brittle, like glass breaking. "You hired a detective?" she said, her voice rising. "God, Mark, do you hear yourself? You're spying on me." She crossed her arms, her posture defensive, but her eyes darted to the side, a tell I'd ignored too long. "Stop lying," I said, stepping toward her. "I saw the photos. You with him. Smiling like you used to smile at me." My voice broke and I hated it. I hated how much I still loved her, even now, with betrayal staring me in the face. Lila's face softened, but it wasn't remorse, it was pity. "Mark, you're blowing this out of proportion. It's not what you think." She reached for me, her fingers grazing my arm, but I flinched. Her touch, once my anchor, now felt like a lie. "Then explain it," I said, my voice low, desperate. "Explain why you're sneaking around, why you're with him, why there's another woman involved. Tell me I'm wrong." She hesitated, her lips parting then closing. The silence was louder than any confession. Snow tapped against the window, a soft, relentless rhythm, like the truth clawing its way in. Finally, she spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. His name's David. He's a friend. We met through work. It's complicated. Complicated. I laughed, a hollow sound. You're with another man, Lila. And there's someone else, too. Another wife. What the hell is going on? Her eyes glistened, but she didn't cry. She never cried. It's not like that, she said, her voice steady now, almost defiant. David's married, yes. His wife, she's part of it. We're all just friends, Mark. You're twisting this into something it's not. I stared at her, searching for the woman I'd married, the one who'd laughed with me over late-night pizza, who'd held my hand when my father died. But all I saw was a stranger, spinning a story I couldn't believe. Then why hide it? I asked, my voice breaking. Why the late nights, the secret calls, the lies? She looked away, her jaw tight. Because I knew you wouldn't understand. The words hit like a punch, stealing my breath. I wanted to shake her, to demand the truth, but part of me was terrified to hear it. What if she didn't love me anymore? What if she never had? The photo slipped from my hand, fluttering to the floor, and Lila's gaze followed it. For a moment we stood there, the silence a chasm between us. Then she spoke, her voice cold, final. I'm not cheating, Mark. But if you can't trust me, maybe we're the problem. She grabbed her coat and walked out, the door slamming behind her. The sound echoed in my chest, a hollow thud that matched my heartbeat. I sank to the floor, the photo at my feet. The investigator's report mentioned another meeting tomorrow night, at a hotel downtown. Lila, David, and the other woman. I could follow them, confront them, demand answers. Or I could let her go, let the truth stay buried. But as I stared at her smile in the photo, so bright, so unfamiliar, I knew I couldn't stop. Not yet. The truth was a wound, but I needed to feel it all. The next night, I stood outside the hotel, snow swirling around me, my heart a tangled mess of hope and dread. I'd made my choice. I'd hired another investigator. This time, not to follow Lila, but to follow David's wife. If Lila was telling the truth, I'd know. If not, I'd face the wreckage of our love head-on. The hotel's neon sign buzzed above me, casting a sickly glow. My phone vibrated. Carl's text, she's here. Room 312. With both of them. My stomach dropped and the world tilted. Too many wives, too many lies. I stepped forward, into the storm, ready to unravel it all.